got to the point where it's going to be necessary to widen this fender out. These little tires are not going to cut it. These are 205s or 225s. 205s, that's definitely not going to do it. I want to try and get a 10-inch rim under here. So this has to come out. There's a lot of ways to do it. We could cut all this out, just put the over fender on there. I'm just not happy how that lays with the rest of the car. The longer, more drawn out way to go is what I'm thinking I'm going to do. I'm going to cut the sheet metal. I'm going to use this body line all the way across. I'm going to maintain this body molding that goes all the way through it. What I'm going to do is cut all the way along underneath of this seam, all the way through. It's going to go underneath. I'm going to have to cut the wheel well all the way around, come back out over here, and do the same all the way down the side of the quarter panel. Once that's cut, it'll allow me to fold this out. So I figure I can get an inch out of this at least, and give me enough rim space to get more tires under here. Once this comes out, I'm going to have to come back through and put a plate underneath of it. It's going to be like a long triangle that comes out to here. Fill in the fender liner or fender well, and the same piece, another triangle, it's going to be wider here and pinpoint in the back of the car. Should give me about an inch in this area, which is what we want. From there, this is my original side molding. It's already cracked, so I'm not really too worried about this. Probably just going to cut this out, cut it here. And then the other thing I wanted to do, this will be so that's how that goes. Now you got to figure this body line is going to wind up coming outwards to about here. And this is just a rough template. I'll be a lot more precise with this when we get to it. So this is going to be folded. It's going to come behind it. I'm going to use the original molding. It's going to come underneath this molding. And this is what I'm looking at, if I can get it to stick. And I'll tuck underneath the bottom of it. And it should give me some space to come out. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more work on this. Is going to be a piece of sheet metal. I'm going to have to somehow roll the edge, roll the edge of this edge so it looks like a nice seam, and we're going to have to flange the other side to match the back side of it. So I'm going to get started to work. I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to get cutting and hacking this car apart some more all the way down the side. Alright, all the horrible cutting is done, so it's cut all the way down the side, through the fender well, and back down. And this is what I was going for. You can see it comes out. Without too much distortion in the sheet metal, I can get it out about an inch. So it's still going to take some massaging. I'm going to have to come through here and hammer and dolly this just to change that angle, because now it's at a downward slope. This is why we do all this before paint. And you can see I held off on welding this in because I'm getting a lot of flex through that right now. Once I get this where I want it, and then this panel to stop flexing, I'll come through here, I'll take out the actual well that's behind this, and I'm going to weld it all in, because the fuel filler is now up under the frunk. So I'm going to get the measuring and make sure I can get this where I want it, and I'm going to start making up the panels I need, the filler panels, weld it all back up, and we'll get back to this portion of it. Alright, so all my cutting's done. I said I wanted to get at least an inch out of this. I'm actually able to get an inch and a half. So this is my filler panel. It's an inch and a half on this side. It comes down about a 1/4 inch on that side. And it's just going to kind of pinch up on down the far end. And what we're going to do, this is going to lay just inside of here. This is just my inch and a half inch spacer. My filler panel is going to come down. And luckily it sits pretty good, and I realize this is probably in the way. So here we are. This is where my welds are going to be, all the way down here, all the way out this side. And to avoid distortion of the heat in the metal up too much, we're just going to do a spot here, spot here, spot here, spot here, and all the way down the sides. Probably going to take about an hour or two to get the whole thing welded up. Then I'll do this back portion, and then we'll work on the wheel well. I got this filler panel put back in here, and you can see where this has been cut out, and it slowly tapers inwards and looks super ugly. This is my easy way. This is why I went about doing this initially. This is my way of covering that up. So this is an inch and a half difference. The spread up here is now an inch and a half. I still have to add another flap that's going to tuck behind all this. And it's all going to kind of cake together. And this is what we're going to get. This is still my second rough template. I have to make another one, and then we're going to cut this out of metal. We're going to make the filler, then we're also going to have an additional piece that comes behind and follows that body line up. So I'll get to making that now. Here's just a look of it wrapped around the initial molding. So I had to add this inner piece just to make it flush with this, to continue to direct the air inwards. Here's how it wraps around the outside. All right, and here it is put on the car. Still got to do the body work on this fiberglass piece to cover up where I cut out. A little bit of body work up on there. Remove the fuel door. Here's a look from the other side. And the hole up top is still the access to get that piece of molding through. I'll probably make something to cap that off also. So now this is done. I'm going to do pretty much the same thing on the front. I'm going to maintain using that body line where the molding is. Try and get another inch out of the front also. So we'll start working on that now. Okay, so the front fender should be a lot easier than the back. We're going to cut along here to make it wider, but we don't necessarily have to because there's a bracket underneath and there's a spot weld here and here. So I just need to drill those out, which will allow me to pull this outwards. And for the front, we're going to do just like we did on the back. That's the line we're going to cut on. And up top here, I have this little indicator. Just tell me where I'm going from stock to how far out I'm able to pull it before I start getting too much distortion. So I'm going to drill out the spot weld, cut the steel, and we'll see what we can get out of it. All right, here is the cardboard template for the front louver. And you can see it kind of works with the way the back one works. Molding is still in there. It just goes through to the other side. And here is the actual piece of metal we're going to use. And you can see that double-edged. That's where I'm going to have to roll the sides over because I don't want to leave a sharp razor edge like that. Just an extra step I have to take, and that top line is going to break to copy that right there. So now we'll start working the sheet metal portion of it.